This is going to be a series on umlauts in German. First one is the U umlaut. So with umlauts, sometimes what makes them hard to pronounce is that they're foreign sounds. Presumably German is your second language. Sometimes though, what makes them hard to pronounce is just the fact that there are these two different variants for each umlaut. There's the tense variant and the lax variant. And when you look at a word and you see orthographically the umlaut letter, you don't necessarily know which variant, tense or lax, you have to use in pronunciation of that word. So I'm going to give you some pronunciation tips and some guidelines, and I'm also going to tell you how to articulate each variant. I'm going to start by giving you some guidelines to help you differentiate between this tense variant and the lax variant of these umlaut sounds. So the tense variant, this generally occurs in stressed syllables, and the stressed syllable that the tense variant of the umlaut occurs in generally does not end in a consonant. An example is Mühe, Mühe. Compare that to Müller, Müller. So Mühe ends in Ü, and Müller, Müller ends in L. So, and then there's the lax variant. So that's also spelled with an U umlaut. And this variant is typically a short vowel, and it occurs in a closed syllable. That means it ends in a consonant. That's typically how you can tell them apart. And really, you're going to end up memorizing these words because they are separate phonemes, but those are some guidelines for you. Let's take a look at Ü. Ü is a vowel that occurs in words like Rübe, müde, and früh. And it is a long, high front, rounded vowel, and it is right next to E on the vowel chart. So basically, it's the rounded version of E. In other words, it's E with an U face. And by that, I just mean that if you say E, but you round your lips when you're doing that, like you do when you say U, then you get Ü. So E with an U face. Like E on the inside, but U with your lips on the outside. That's what I mean when I say E with an U face. Anyway, so try it. E, E. Now I'm going to describe Ö. And Ö is the lax variant of the U umlaut. It occurs in words like Hülle, dünn, and Müll. It's a near-high, near-front rounded vowel. And that makes sense if you think about it as the lax variant of the U umlaut, which is the lax variant of this tense vowel. So if you take Ü, Rübe, Ü. So if you start with E even. E, and then you round it. E, Ü. And so that's a tense vowel still. And then you relax your tongue root from Ü. So you've got Ü, and then you're relaxing your tongue root, and it's going to fall back and down just a little bit because it's not held up by all that tension, right? So that's where it's still high and it's still front because that's the position it is, but it's just not held up quite as high and as front with as much tension. So I don't know, that makes sense to me. I hope that makes sense to you. So that's where you get Ö. And it's the rounded variant of E. Yeah. So when I say rounded, that can be confusing. And this is one of the things that can contribute to mispronunciation of this sound. So when I say rounded, in this case, for this sound, I'm not talking about protrusion of the lips. Like when we round our lips in English, when we say ooh, like food, if I turn my head here, like ooh, ooh, you can see that my lips are protruding. They're sticking out, and they're when you round your lips, they stick out kind of like this. Ooh. But in German, when you're rounding this, it's still called rounded, but it's more like it's more like a compression of the lips. So, what was my example word? Dun, 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 dun. It's not dun. So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make is you're not doing this. You're just kind of compressing your lips, and this is kind of happening here, dun, but this isn't happening here. It's not like that fish thing, that like, you know, that fish lip thing. So compression, not protrusion. For the lax variant of the umlaut. And to end, I have a minimal pair, just for fun. Füllen versus fühlen. Which one is which? Which variant occurs in which word? So which one is the tense variant and which one is the lax variant? Füllen, fühlen. Füllen to fill, fühlen to feel. Füllen, fühlen. Which one is tense, which one is lax? Comment below.